Amit Jain sir, who has been my colleague, my friend, a surgeon in private practice, as well as professor of surgery, Rajrajeshwari Medical College and Hospital, Bangalore. He is the father and founder of modern diabetic foot surgery. So, to be medical students, you will be seeing his name in many of the medical textbooks that you will read, textbooks of surgery that you'll be reading, and it's a pleasure to have him live in front of you. So he's among the first people in the world who have laid down the principles of practice of diabetic foot surgery in the field of medicine in India. We extend a warm welcome to you, sir, and I request you to sir to state him bouquet of flowers. Last but not the least, I'd like to welcome Dr. Nitin Yashas, who completed his MBBS and MD in internal medicine from the prestigious St. John's Medical College. He's also the recipient of the top 5 ranks of RGHS in his final general medical exam. He was also the cultural secretary and has won over 150 events of debate, quiz, jam, personality contest, and was also part of the theatre team, the Mad Men, and has performed in over 100 stage shows. He's also the co-founder of Alter Doctor. In fact, I'll be talking about various facts and figures and issues that revolve around these topics. We'll be inviting our panelists from time to time to give their views and opinions about all of this. And after, at the end of the seminar, we will definitely take questions from the audience. Okay? So, quick disclaimer. This seminar or webinar is to provide some clarity about various factors in the selection of a medical college and orientation to MBBS. There is no right or wrong answers. The views presented here are those of the speaker, moderator, me, and the panelists based on their experiences. We respect the administrations and doctors working across all the 612 medical colleges of this country. By any means, we do not wish to say that any college is particularly inferior to the other, and if any such inference fell, is not the intention of this seminar or webinar. We encourage students and their parents to take their own decisions in light of the viewpoints expressed in this discussion as suited to one's own needs, rank, and affordability. That being said, let's hear it from our experts on the table. Learn from the experts because you will not live long enough to figure it out all by yourself. And before we go to the panelists, first and foremost, congratulations to each and every one of you for having completed your NEET examination, and you are here 1 year after completing your NEET exam, 1 week after your NEET exam is over, now to already prepare for what's coming up after NEET. So before we start, one big round of applause for each and every one of you for having gone through this journey to keep the catch going, for having gone through this journey of the stressful NEET preparation. It is not only stressful for the students, but also for the parents. I I can imagine how stressful it is for the parents to see their children studying, make sure that they go for their coaching classes, make sure they wake up on time, they have to be picked up on time, and taking care of their exam schedule. So one big round of applause, especially for our parents who are here on a busy Sunday, helping their children decide their future. A louder applause for our parents, guys. Children, you can give applause. Okay, thank you. So, looks like all of you have already decided that you want a doctor after your name tag. And let's hope, doctor before your name tag, and let's hope that the next stop is med school. So what is that comes through the journey? Let's see. In a recent news feed, which was just about 5 days back, we just came to know that over 16 lakh or almost 17 lakh students appeared for the NEET UG examination. But it was not so very long ago. This was a news feed from CBSE IPMT 2008. That time, only 1.6 lakh students appeared for the CBSE IPMT, and if you take into account all the state medical examinations that were conducted separately, the total figure would not have been more than 3 lakh students or 4 lakh students appearing for medical exam or pre-medical exam. Now, taking you through the journey that I went through. As a 17-year-old in 2004, I had to write and I wrote not less than 5 exams. I wrote the All India Pre-Medical Test, the Karnataka CET, which finally I cracked and got a seat in Bangalore Medical College, Comet K exam, in which I got the 17th rank, and then the AIMS, and I also traveled specially to Chennai because the exam center was there to write the JIPR exam. And this was the story of almost any medical student, at least more than 5 years back before NEET UG came into practice. So a lot has changed over the years. Government policies, and one of the beauty of the exam is that it's become a single medical entrance exam. Parents don't have to travel to every medical center with each exam. We have to keep track of which exam is happening on which Sunday of between April and June 1st. June 1st used to be the last exam conducted by AIMS, and that's what used to be the scenario. There is not only an increased demand for medical seats. Now from 4 lakhs we have increased to 16 lakh, 18 lakh students appearing for the exam. There has also been an increase in the medical colleges. And let's see what our seniors on stage, Dr. Rajshekhar sir and Satish sir. So what according to you has been the most significant benefit to medical aspirants over the years? What has changed over the years? Sir, NEET ready, sir. Rajshekhar sir, both.
Good afternoon to all of you. Did you see me in the morning? Some of you have seen. We are going to do a repetition. The second seminar we are doing now, same how. My distinguished colleagues are there, Dr. Satish, Dr. Jay, Dr. Nitin, and man of the match. We said man of the match, and the man of the day is Vikram, CEO of Medical Mentors. I do not know what way I am going to contribute to your counseling process, but I am going to share with you what is in store in medical profession. If you are out of the way and I ask you, how many of you have already decided on your own I should become a doctor? Does it mean those who didn't raise hand were asked to become doctor by someone else? How many of you are pressurized by parents to become doctors? Or maybe that your neighbor is a famous doctor, a very wealthy doctor, bungalows, properties, name and fame. That's why I want to become a doctor. Is anybody like that? And there must be somebody, they don't want to say publicly. I am very positive in my mind that those who want to become doctors should not enter medical college because of having seen the example of a very wealthy doctor, very famous doctor. There are only 5% in the whole country. Such rich people are not many in the country. Many doctors live hand-to-mouth life. I am not discouraging you, I am just telling you, don't take the example of most successful doctor. I also want to become like him. You please decide on your own, I must become a doctor because I love the profession. I like the profession. I adore the profession. I must become a doctor to serve humanity, not to make money. Let not be money or dollar be your DT in your life. In the morning I said, even today, 90% of people in the country still respect doctors. Most respectable profession, most wanted, because a noble profession. That's why the morning I told you, Vaidyo Narayano Hari. ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರೇ ನೀವು ದೇವರು ಬಂದಂಗೆ ಬಂದ್ರಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೊಮ್ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಉಳಿಸಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಕಾಲು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಬದುಕು ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳು ಈ ಒಂದು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಬದುಕಿನ ಹತ್ರ ರೊಕ್ಕ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲು ಬೀಳ್ತಾರೆ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಒಂದು ಭಾರತೀಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ So it is important that in your mind is keep in mind that I am not become a doctor just for sake of name, fame, position, authority, wealth, and so on. I may be wrong, I am old-fashioned doctor. Other than extras like may differ from a going may differ from. I also want to make money. Making money is not a crime, but do it honestly. Do it given the dignity.
Definitely, sir. I feel that is a very important point that you have put across. Sir, Satish, sir, name views head. What has been the most important benefit to?
Now, over a period of last 30-40 years, the process of admission to medical college has changed enormously. We never imagined 20 years back things will happen like this. I am a principal teacher in medical college, private medical college in Belgaum for the last 55 years and administrator for the last 30 years in one of the medical colleges. Before NEET came, there was an institution called Common K, which is an association of private medical and dental colleges. They used to conduct all India examination for entrance to medical engineering colleges. And I was a part of the particular team and we did very honestly and transparently. But in 2015, hours after NEET has come, all seats, irrespective of the caste, categories, state, deemed, private, government, all the admission is done through NEET ranking. And there is a common entrance examination for all students. That's where we stand today. In the morning, I just told that if you are paid for NEET examination, you got trained, coached, worked very hard and answered most of the questions and you are expecting a good marks and a good rank. But you must keep in mind that there is a different skill, different talent appearing for exam and writing an exam. After that, most important journey starts now and that journey starts through medical mentors. I came to know Uttam Kumar about 3 years back when he came with some students to get admitted to our medical college. We run KL University runs another private medical college in collaboration with Government of Malaysia in Belgaum. So ever since that time I am in contact with him and I have no hesitation to say that medical mentors have very transparent approach, honest approach, truthful approach, with knowledge and clarity in their mind about what they are talking. That's why we saw 5,000 students and parents attending in the morning session today, and so much of need for such information. So getting admission to medical college today is more difficult than getting rank in NEET. Because the process is very complicated. Hence we have medical mentors who help you to hold your hand from beginning of counseling till the end of admission process. There are so many types of medical, there are so many varieties of medical college, there are so many different tuition fees, different categories and so on. It's a very complex issue. So to make it very familiar to all of you on those issues, we have medical mentor who is an education consultant and a counselor who is going to help you in the particular process. So in that process, we are all part of the team. Because he is transparent, honest, truthful and knowledgeable, up-to-date knowledge. Last year we had 602 colleges, today we have 612 medical in the country. And we have almost 110,000, about more than a lakh MBBS students today, admissions in the whole country. And we have 62 medical in Karnataka and 10,145 medical seats in Karnataka. In that also very complex. There's so many varieties in category. So our medical mentors are going to give all details of what sort of category, where do you stand, are you eligible to get government seat, or India quota, deemed university, or ESI and so on. So it's a very complex issue. Fortunately, myself and Satish did not go through all this. Only to show the mark, get admitted. Nothing was there in between around those days.
Yes, sir.
With this few opening remarks, I pray God that when you become a doctor, you must keep in mind that medical college course is not 5 years college course. It is not college course. It is not 5 years. It is a lifelong course. I am going to be a learner, sharer, benefactor, my patient throughout my life. Because I must do my best to my patient. I must update it. So I have to keep this in mind. So it's a very tough course. Medical college is a very tough course. That's why intelligence students come to medical college. In the morning I told you, you don't require intelligence to become doctor. You don't require intelligence to become doctor. You require big heart to become a good doctor. Competence is IQ. Compassion is heart. So most important part of the doctor profession is compassion, concern, kindness. Now relationship, talking, communication, care, cure, which are more important than IQ. I can say that blessed is he who sees hospital as temples. Blessed is he who sees patients as gods. Blessed is he, the doctor, the Purohit, Maulvi, and the father are the doctor. And his coconut, flowers, and incense are the medicines. If we can treat that sort of feeling in mind, our time spent here for 10 minutes is worth. If somebody is a crook of a doctor and say, who counseled you? Vikram counseled you. Who will consult you? Rashakras was there. I feel very bad about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, this is an excellent opportunity for you to make best use of medical mentors. They are very truthful and honest. They will share all knowledge, up to date, correct knowledge. So that through their counseling, you will get the optimum rank and ideal medical college. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A big round of applause for words of experience of an 80-year-old man. Thank you so much, sir. So, coming to the point, Satish sir, so over the last few years, what do you feel has changed? What is the best benefit that medical students have got? Panelists can sit and answer, sir. because we'll have a lot of questions. These are quick one-line answers, sir.
Yeah, I know. See, things look rosy. In the sense, number of medical colleges have increased, number of seats have increased. Definitely the aspirants have also increased. So you have to have a balance there. I think we'll go through next few.
Great, fantastic, sir. So exactly the point what Satish sir was making. This is according to the circular at Lok Sabha just on 22nd July, 2 days back, where they have announced that this year there will be total of 91,927 medical seats distributed over 612 medical colleges, of which there will be totally 48,202 MBBS seats in government and central, and in private there will be around 43,915. So this slide many of you must have seen in the morning as well, those who have attended. Is there anyone who was not here in the morning? Oh, many of you have come just for this. So I'll just quickly go through this slide. So we have totally about 322 colleges, including 298 government colleges and 24 AIMS and central universities. In total, we have 245 private and 49 deemed colleges. So, what are the various types of medical colleges? This was what was presented to you in the morning. I'll just change this slightly for a little more clarity. So, the two main broad classifications are your government medical colleges and private medical colleges. Government medical colleges, you have institutes of national importance, you have 20 AIMS, 2 JIPMER, and then you have 3 central universities, which include Aligarh Muslim University, Banaras Hindu University, and MGIMS, Wardha. And then, of course, you have the state government colleges. So let's look at some examples. Just being partial to my alma mater, I put up Bangalore Medical College there first, but obviously here's some examples. You have Mysore Medical College, you have NMC Delhi, you have Madras Medical College, you have King's Hooghly, and so on and so forth. These medical colleges are run by the government, and then you have private medical colleges, which are private institutions. So private medical colleges can be medical colleges that are affiliated to the state medical universities. For example, KIMS, you have Vaidehi, which are all affiliated to Rajiv Gandhi University. And then you have deemed to be universities like KMC, Manipal. So let's look at some of the examples for private institutions. You have Vaidehi, you have Father Mother, you have KIMS, you have PSG Medical College, you have JJM Davangere. And similarly, some of the deemed institutions. You have SRMC Chennai, SDM Dharwad, KMC Manipal. I just randomly picked up these colleges. I don't have any separate affiliations or, with any of these colleges. Just picked up them randomly for knowledge purposes. So, let's look at how to choose a college. Life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes what you are. And therefore, the next big step in your life is choosing the right medical college for you. How many of you believe that the medical college that you are going to choose is going to make a huge difference in your life? Almost everyone. I think wherever you study does make a difference, does make you. And let's look at what are the factors. Is everyone too sleepy in the post-lunch session?
No.
Yeah, no to say so. No. Some energy from the crowd?
No.
Okay, great. So till now, parents, students were in this kind of a figure. You don't know whether you want to become a doctor, you want to become an engineer, you want to pursue journalism, you want to pursue law. So there were a lot of options that one had. But now, if you are in this room, it means that at least you have decided that you want to take up medicine, you want to pursue MBBS. And now the next big decision is to choose your medical college. So let's invite our panelists as to what are the deciding factors. So Amit sir, what according to you are the factors that go in deciding the medical college for students?
The factors are overall factors.
Please speak your mind. What are the factors?
Yeah, the first factor is obviously how popular the college is. Second comes into the picture is the area where you stay. Because many of us would like to stay where we are. Like if I'm in Bangalore, my preference was to be in Bangalore. Whereas my sister's preference was no. She had to prefer college wherever it is. She's ready to go based on what she wants to learn from that area. Second, preference comes is not I'm lazy to living in I'm lazy to I hate traveling a lot. So I started narrowing within 50 kilometers, 30 kilometers, 20. So those were the expectations those days. But today when you see the ranking is different, the system is different. So obviously students who choose which are the top colleges and which are the one in their area, which is in their state, and then come there in the city. So this is the two main factors what I would think is what people try to look into the picture nowadays.
Anything more, sir?
Other come picture into is let's assume that even if it's out of the state, that's the rank is good and one top college. Obviously they will have to look into where the city is, what is the hostel facility, the travel, all comes into the picture. Am I wrong?
Some problem.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
So those also come into the connectivity to the city which you are. So these are some of the factors that will definitely look into the picture. So
Great. Nitin, your opinion, please.
Yeah. So apart from what Dr. Amit told me, the most important factor, I feel that again, you have to look at rankings by various institutes, organizations. You have the trusted NIRF rankings of medical colleges. As such, I would always say look at the patient load and the academic atmosphere there. A lot of people would always say that medicine is self-learned, you have to read medicine, no one will spoon feed you. But it's also very important to look at, is there an academic environment in the college? Are there classes which happen regularly? Is there enough clinical caseload which is there for students to get exposed to? Because you know that medicine is first year is anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, and then from second year you have clinical exposure as such. So you need to be in a place where you get to see a variety of cases. So make a note, I'm talking about a variety of cases, not really the volume of cases. So it's very important that A, you look at variety of cases which you get exposed to, and B, the amount of academic atmosphere which is present there. And lastly, which was my personal preference when I choose, and I feel, and that's something that we would be discussing further as well, is there a scope for some of your hobbies and passion to be also promoted in the medical college? Do they have good sporting facilities? Do they have a cultural fest? And for me, that was also one of the deciding factors. So I think gone are the days when you would just go by the name of the institute. You have to start looking from the name of the institute and the reputation it has, and then start coming down to these factors which are college related. So if you were to, when you write your medical answers, you have to now start putting them into points. I'm already giving you have to put subheadings. So you have college related factors and personal related factors. Dr. Amit has possibly told you all the personal related factors. I have told you a few of the college related factors.
Great. We'll come to you, sir. So 3 points I want to summarize over here what Nitin mentioned, which I'll also be discussing in the coming slides, but 3 important factors from the academic point of view is there an academic environment? Are classes going on over there? And is there a caseload? These are 3 separate points and have totally, can have a different picture in every college. Okay, there are 3 separate points. If you go to a top college like NEET or Bangalore Medical College, you have a fantastic academic environment because a lot of students come with a similar mindset. Now, are the classes going on regularly over in that particular college or no? That may happen in certain departments, may not happen in certain departments depending how the department goes. And 3, caseload. Obviously, caseload will be a little more in institutes of national importance or in the central state medical colleges. Any other deciding factors, Satish sir, you would like to say some?
You have to look at the reality. See, your ranking makes you take the college. You have your choice, I agree. But it is something like love and marry. Ultimately, you love. So you love the college where you get the seat. So don't be it's very difficult sometimes. See, for example, I have a ranking of 500 and I cannot expect to be in BMC. So let us look at the reality also. Don't get disheartened. Each college will have its plus points and negative points. So take the plus points and definitely see all of you are intelligent and you can make it up. So don't worry. That's what I feel. It's my personal.
Satish sir is actually just bringing me to my next slide. Your primary deciding factors is going to be your score, rank, and finances. Let's face it. These are the primary deciding factors. Yes, sir. Actually.
In continuation with what my colleague said, one of the best ways to find out how good or bad the college is, if possible, get feedback from students who are studying the medical college, if possible. There is a real feedback will give you of what sort of an academic comprehension they, how truthful they are, how committed they are, and so on and so forth. So one of the ways of getting feedback from students who study in the medical college. National Medical Commission has planned to rate medical colleges in the next maybe 6 months to 1 year. They will rate all 164 medical colleges, A grade, maybe category A, category B, category C, and so on. So that will give a truthful picture to parents to select which category medical college to take. My next question is going to ask whether they want a government medical college or a private medical college. I belong to private medical. I am very proud of my medical college.
True.
Not that all private colleges are bad. Not that all government colleges are good. There is always enough variation of good and bad in all private colleges.
Very true. So, what Rajshekar sir said is very true. Not that all government colleges may be the best choice for you, and not that all private colleges may be having a less clinical caseload in comparison to government college. So these factors have to be. So we have to look at the individual choices according to your rank. What are the possible group of colleges that you are getting, and then take a call. We will go through several examples. So the primary factors are your score, rank, and finances. Secondly, and a very important factor is the concept of a drop. So when I was a medical student, in southern India at least, there was never a concept of dropping a year and studying for entrance exam earlier. Dr. Nitin, do you remember anything like this, or was it very common? I don't remember.
So I don't think it was there in Karnataka.
Yeah, not in southern India.
But it was there in Kerala. So quite a few of my colleagues, batchmates, did drop a year. Some of them even two to make it. So this is a concept which probably differs from state to state and also the underlying educational culture as such. But I don't know, and as Govind also said, during our time in Karnataka, especially, no one really believed in the concept of a drop and then studying. But then there were coaching institutes in states like Kerala where students post second PUC or 12th standard would spend a year or two to get into medicine at any cost.
So, just a show of hands, how many of you wrote the NEET here for the first time? Most of you. How many of you wrote it for the second time? Some of you. Anyone who wrote it for the third time? No. So, definitely a lot of first timers here. So, many people, even in the break, were asking me about this question. So, should we take a college in this year, even if it is not that good, or should we wait for another year? Waiting for another year is a very, very tricky thing. Amit sir, you want to say something?
If you're taking a medical college this year, I would say take it. Don't wait for a better medical college next time. I don't know whether they'll agree or not. If I'm getting a bronze, I'll take a bronze and I'll be happy with it. I will not look for silver or gold. Then I said there are people who love that they're confident they'll get gold next time, so they may give 1 or 2 attempts. But I know what I am. So if I'm getting that tip, I would take it.
So that's a very important point. You need to judge that how many of you can live through another year of preparation, do justice to it, and try to give a better attempt the next year. If you're really confident of giving a better attempt next year, then definitely maybe you could take a drop and study again. But if you're getting a medical college, a reasonable medical college, and a medical college that your parents can afford, then you should go for it. Then come the secondary deciding factors, like my panelists already mentioned, the teaching in the institute, whether the family allows you to go to a different city. At least in my time, that used to be a factor. Even for a guy, in maybe 20 years back, parents would not be happy to send their child for MBBS to a different city. So whether the family is allowing the son or daughter to go to a different city to do MBBS. So whether the college is in the same city, and even if it is in the same city, what is the distance from home? If it is in a different city, what is the connectivity? What is the college life, hostel life, interaction with seniors, research opportunities? How will the internship be? Is there an internal PG quota? And is there a bond after MBBS? So let's look at the individual factors. Since we hit upon this topic already, you can already mention it. We'll take Satish sir's and Rajshekar sir's views and Amit sir's view with respect to the teaching aspect. How much does teaching matter, or how much should it matter in selection of the college? Satish sir first.
I feel it is 50-50. See what happens, as we all know, each department will have different teachers. Try to pick up the positive points. Don't look at the negatives. And this is a professional college. Everything cannot be taught, number one. Number two, you have to indulge yourself. They can show you the path, take that path and start doing on your own. For example, if you take any disease, what I advise my students will be, suppose I am in medicine posting, I have to read about fever and go to the clinicals. Then what happens? Something will be taught in the clinical hour. Then you come back and revise yourself. Then you have to do what is known as role play. See, each batch will have at least 5 to 10 students. One student will become the teacher, the others will become the student. Usually the same questions are asked even in the internal viva or even in the university exams. And the same questions will be asked by the patients when you start practicing. So once this habit is cultivated, things become very easy. You see, in our time we used to fight for what we call a symptom or sign. Sign is the one which we are eliciting on a patient. So in a batch of 10 people, 10 different views will come. But ultimately only one will be right. So that one will be decided by your teacher, or when you actually examine, you will know what it is. So what I am trying to tell you is, definitely don't expect everything to be taught. If we can just show you the path, ultimately it is endless. Sky is not the limit according to me. So it all depends on it.
That's it yourself. What is your opinion? Does teaching, should I keep in, as a student, when I'm selecting the college, should I keep in mind how is the teaching in that particular college or not? Or how much does it matter?
I have a different take on this matter. In teaching medical colleges, there are different types of curriculum. We have extrinsic curriculum, another is intrinsic curriculum. When you say extrinsic curriculum, it is building, infrastructure, laboratories, library, revenue sources, hospital, teachers. These are all extrinsic curriculum. But students who have gone through the medical college, some students have scored 80%, same medical college, some students have 50%. So based on this concept, there is also intrinsic curriculum where person matters most rather than environment and teacher. How serious I am in focusing, learning, hard work. This is called internal curriculum, antaranga. External, bahiranga. Every teacher is same, every curriculum is same, every label is same. How will that one will get distinction? Another will get 50%, another 40% same, the same medical college, same environment, same library, same teachers. So both matter very important. How much I rise in my life does not depend on environment, it depends on me, how hard I am, how sincere I am, how focused I am, what is my goal in my life. That matters much more than extrinsic curriculum. That's what I think.
Yes, fantastic. Amit sir, you want to make a comment since you are a professor in a medical college.
If you ask me the division of what was the curriculum like 15 years and now, I will put very clear that 15 years back, 90% it was a teacher dependent, 10% brilliant students who were working with it. Teaching was that very important because you did not have audio-visual aids to that extent. You did not have the technologies what you are seeing today. You don't have apps, you don't have alternative mentorships, you don't have Google, YouTube, possibility. Now you say you have almost everything. So what was 90s to 10? Today I would put 50s to 50. You got it?
So one question to the audience on that. How many of you did not use any kind of electronic video or educational material for your NEET coaching? Only books. Any of you used only books? Only offline coaching. Only offline coaching. Hardly 4, 5. So I assume 10. So I assume the remaining 95% was dependent on some form of online classes, on some form of recorded classes or recorded material that was available, and was not the case 15 years.
That's why it's become 50-50 today. But so if the teacher is excellent, they make it marvelous using both electronic gadgets.
Yes.
So just want to quickly add here that most of us we are talking of patient and skill-based teaching and learning from patients and all that, which is true. But I also view that in your medical college, when you start your journey, the first 2 years is predominantly still going to be classroom-based. Because your pre and paraclinical subjects are in the classroom and the labs. So your anatomy, physio, biochem, patho, pharma, and microbiology. In fact, these subjects form the basis for any understanding, even at the super specialty level at oncology. I need to have my pathology and pharmacology and physiology.
So you are saying that because you are from St. John's?
No. So what I'm saying is that the first 2 years is very important, and as everyone in the panel said, to take a feedback from students who are studying there as to how the first 2 years are also.
So, yeah, maybe me and Nitin differ a little on this part. The reason because we are from different medical colleges. Yes, classroom teaching does matter. But classroom teaching varies from department to department, teacher to teacher. The department that was the best during my time in BMC may not be the best in BMC today. The teachers that were there 15 years back may not be there today. And therefore, teaching is something very, very dynamic. And as all the panelists agree, take a feedback from your immediate seniors, from people who are in the college within the last 3 to 4 years. That will give you a better understanding. So moving on to the next thing. How important is senior-junior interaction? This is an important concept because a lot of medical colleges have been opened in the last 4 or 5 years. Some of these medical colleges have not even completed their first 5 years. The first batch that started off has not even completed their internship. So many students came to me and asked, should I join that college because I don't have any seniors to guide me. I don't know how good the department would have been developed. Will the teachers be that experienced to teach a particular subject? So these were the doubts. So definitely in everyone's journey there has been some mentor. All our medical college time. So starting from Nitin, tell us briefly about who was your teacher or mentor in MBBS times.
So I had a couple of them. One of them was Dr. Anurag Kurpat, who was one of the pioneers in physiology and nutrition in India, and really gave me encouragement to pursue research, which is helping me a lot right now. A lot of teachers to look up to and inspire, and then as we moved on to Daniela Graham, who you also know as a big name in dermatology, who sort of gave more of life advice and how to keep a balance between academics, co-curricular, and this thing. And of course, for me, because I went on to do internal medicine, I always looked up to my medicine professors, Dr. Cecil, Dr. Ravindran, Dr. Chandramani, just the bedside manners, the way they would approach patients and the diagnosis as such. So it's very, very important, as we again spoke, that when we speak about teaching, it's just not traditional teaching. It's about how the college has these great faculties or great teachers who will be there to guide you, hold your hand and take your way forward. And just like Vikram and mentor mentors are doing it at this stage, you need mentors throughout your journey in medicine at all stages of your life.
So till now what you had in the form of school teacher, tuition teacher, you'll have someone playing a greater role in your life in the form of a mentor once you enter medical college. Mark my words. Okay? Amit sir, tell us about your mentor, someone who's specially close to you, who has guided you.
Asking at MBBS level.
MBBS level, yeah, let's stick to MBBS. So, do you think you missed something? Do you think you missed something in MBBS because you didn't have it? So that is the point I was trying to make. So recently opened medical colleges, sometimes you may not have that senior kind of someone to guide you if there are not too many batches.
Because that time we were scared of bragging and talking anybody, so we never opened our mouth and
True.
Now we have much more options and much more people to help.
But in fact, some of my colleagues even told it was ragging that I'm not promoting ragging here or talking for it, but yes, they accepted that it was ragging that helped them connect with some of the seniors that later they looked upon to, and so it was more of an icebreaker session than actual ragging that I'm talking
about. Now the rule is become is that every one of them is going to have a mentor.
Yes. So that was what was practiced in CMC when I went to. So every youngster had a mentor. Good. Satish sir, about your mentor, have you had any memories of your mentor?
No, at that time I think the situation was something different. See, we never used to develop a very close association with any of the teachers. Of course, seniors used to guide us. And of course, we used to get books from them, and usually they won't send, especially for first year.
So the senior who
usually used to send it for you.
Yes.
So at a discount. It was good.
I
don't recall any particular person.
Rajshekar sir, took any mentor that you have had, sir? Any memories of that time?
The last 12 years, I had in a medical college. It's called International Medical Program, collaboration with University in Malaysia. The curriculum is hybrid spices model there, which is different from Medical Council of India curriculum. They have basically the curriculum, mentorship program is compulsory there.
Great.
It's also called SIPship, where senior student guide junior student, but SIPship is called. So mentorship and SIPship in medical college have gone well, so that juniors get used to the environment, maybe physical, emotional, the medical problems and so on and so forth. So mentoring is different from teaching. I teach 1 hour and go away. Doesn't bother whether the student learned or not, how much. But mentoring is not develop a relationship between student and teacher, and they are in constant touch with each other. We are monitoring whether it is learning or not. If not, why is not learning? Where is the problem? Who are the slow learners? Who are the fast learners? Like that. So mentorship is important, but it is all theoretical. And what we are discussing is all theory in the audience here. 90% of the time, something doesn't happen in medical colleges.
Sir, I am preparing them for the practical.
I would advise Vikram in future to connect what sort of teaching goes on in medical college, how students are good, how teachers are good, so that we can confidently tell people like you, I personally know and monitor this college is good.
That's how medical college in India. Even they have this mentorship program basically.
So NMC has now encouraged mentorship. So they are in a better phase. They will get some prescribed mentor is there. And the students are going to be so smart that they will also start choosing the mentor over the time how they want based on what they want to be. So it's become much easier for them to guide mentorship.
So like you said, actually, when I was in third year MBBS, St. John's Swiss had an official mentorship program, and I was given a pediatrics faculty member to be a mentor for 3-4 of us. And every 2-3 weeks we used to meet to talk not only about progress in academics, my colleagues were all from out of the state to inquire about their family and are they facing any difficulties. Just very briefly touching upon your point as to if you're joining a new college which does not have much seniors and all that, don't worry, you will always know someone from some other medical college who will be able to guide you. I can actually call Govind also as my mentor because he was 3 years my senior, and in fact, when I was going to CMC to give my postgraduate interview, he was kind enough to give me accommodation with him to tell how to prepare for the interview, what they expect, and even give me tips on how to write final exams. So you will always find help somewhere or the other in the medical field, and especially in today's world of social media, you have a lot of groups on Facebook, Insta, whatever, which will be able to guide you. So very, very important when choosing, but even if it's a new college and you're getting it, don't worry about this aspect, because I think it's a famous quote in Harry Potter, help will be given to all those who ask for it.
Yes, so anyone of you who feels does not have a mentor can call me or mentor. We'll be happy to help you. Okay, Vikram sir, in fact, has started some of the people who have used, the students who have used their services in the past, and we are in touch with them. They would be happy to guide other students, in future. So we are trying to work on this.
We have many students from top AMC, top government medical colleges, those who have scored really well. So we are providing something called academic mentorship in our services, right? So where we tag one dedicated academic mentor with one NEET aspirant and they help them basically how to prepare for NEET, how to plan their exam preparation, how to get the better marks, right? So even we have that.
Mentorship is different from teachers. Okay, mentor is somebody who's going to help you through a phase. This is a little difficult for us to understand those things. So your mentor will not be your teacher, or your teacher will not be a mentor. So you will identify yourself some mentor who's going to help you from
someone who's taking care of you. Yes. So, can anyone in the audience name who is this? Anyone in the audience? Is everyone awake? Okay. A little louder, yeah. We are trying to have a discussion, a session with interaction. Is everyone awake? Yeah. Anyone can identify him? No. Anyone from the panel?
Too little related to Nitin, but sorry.
With that hairstyle, definitely not.
Okay, so I'm just playing a prank on you. This is nothing, no one but my own mentor. He was my immediate senior in Bangalore Medical College. Whatever I am today, whatever I achieved in MBBS was because of Dr. Ajay Kasi, who mentored me right from the time I got admission into MBBS. His home was just about 500 meters from my house. I used to go to his house whenever I had any doubts. I used his textbooks. He used to teach me, he used to guide me as to how I could, prepare for exams, how to write answers. So that's what I'm trying to refer to as a mentor. So it's very important to have a good senior who's really mentoring you through the MBBS. I do not remember if he got a gold medal or not, but all my gold medals and achievements I can attribute to him because he has mentored me. A big round of applause. He's not here in the audience, and I took his permission, I took his photo, and I'm displaying it here because he has mentored me through my journey of MBBS. So after mentorship comes to internship. Everyone looks at MBBS from 2 points of view. One is the academics, the studies, and second is the internship. So how important is internship? And do you think of this factor while choosing your medical college? Amit sir.
Internship is one of the most crucial part of your career. After finishing 4.5 years or whatever you have learned, this is the period which you are going to apply. So, all the use of word internship also in simple language, it is something called application of practicality of whatever you have done in theory for 4.5 years. So, we request everybody that please take this period to be the most important. Apparently, we are seeing vice versa. Not many people are taking internship important. Whereas if you see in olden period, this was the basis of your 30 years of practice, what you are going to do it. Whatever you have learned theory, 1 year is the most crucial period of how are you going to apply in each department. So I say, please take it seriously.
Nitin, you would like to have a...
Yeah, I actually, we sort of work with many junior doctors and we sort of mentor them in different ways. And it's very disappointing to see that off late internship has become more of a time for PG preparation. And that's the changing reality which you will experience when you join MBBS. That in fact now, because of a lot of coaching institutes also promoting, when you say you start your PG preparation even from second year MBBS. So in fact, I always say it's very important to enjoy the journey and go through the journey of becoming a doctor rather than just looking at endpoints as such. Internship can be the most beautiful period of a doctor's life because that's the first time you're actually a doctor. Now, when you're in MBBS, all along you might have your relatives asking you to prescribe even in your MBBS. Trust me, the first week after you join MBBS, someone will call you and ask, I'm having stomach pain or headache, what tablet should I give? Right? They will think you're a cardiologist or a neurologist in your first year MBBS itself. It's going to happen.
And you will end up prescribing something also.
And you will end up prescribing. You will say pantoprazole, full confidence, Dolo 650 mg TID, and 40 mg OD. Just take it half an hour before breakfast. You will add all the masala and prescribe because even you want to feel like a doctor. But honestly speaking, internship is a time when you actually begin to work as a doctor. It's the time when you are the first contact with the patient. And in fact, I have noticed this myself as an intern, when I become a resident and as a consultant, the patient's trust is more with the intern and the first year postgraduate, because they are the ones who see the patient the most number of times. And when you start developing that rapport, that gratification and that emotion which you feel, that in fact, when the HOD or someone comes on rounds, if he is saying something, they will not be assured till the intern or the first year postgraduate test. And that's when you know that the impact you are made as an intern is the most important. So in internship, you get chance to assist in surgeries. You get chance to work up cases, diagnose, make a treatment plan. You get exposed to many other things. You get exposed to fields you have not been exposed to in MBBS, such as anesthesia, psychiatry. Many subjects you get exposed to, you have elective postings too. So my advice always to people is do internship the right way it is supposed to be done and enjoy it. PG preparations can happen in the parallel, but don't forsake internship because it's only going to come once in your life. Remember, after this, you become a full-fledged doctor and you have responsibility for every medical decision you make, both in the eyes of the law and here in the patient. Here, you can do whatever you want with freedom without having that responsibility burden.
So very important point made by Dr. Nathan. Yes, when I was preparing this slide, I spoke to interns from different colleges, government and private, and tried to take their opinion. So some of them said, yes, in comparison to interns from government college, interns in government colleges, we have a little bit of lesser confidence in diagnosing, or we are a little hesitant with respect to prescribing. So that was a factor. And my message, like the panel, would be to please give enough importance to internship, because you will be exposed to everything there, and that would be your last exposure to everything. After MBBS, you will follow one specialty. You will not, but your family will ask you about everything. Your family will ask you about gynec, about pediatrics, about bone, about fracture. They will call you about everything, and you don't want to cut a sorry figure in front of them. So make sure you are giving enough importance to all the subjects in internship, and let PG preparation go side by side. PG preparation alone should not be the goal. Like it is said, the first quote I learned when I was in MBBS was, the eyes does not see what the mind doesn't know. And internship is the period where you have the time to see every other disease that your mind has read during the last 4.5 years of MBBS. So make use of internship in whichever college you do. So
just one last point. Some things might change because your next exam, which is the exit licensing exam, may get introduced soon in the next few years. We still don't know the exact date, a lot of things going on. That would replace essentially the PG preparation exam, and that would test your internship also. So that might become a very important factor as well coming down the line.
There will be two exams, next one will be replacing the final year exam, next two, they are going to check your clinical knowledge. Whatever you have learned in the internship, they are going to test that. Next two will be the qualifying exam. You need to qualify the exam, then only you get into the PG. And wait for the next score, they are going to get the admission into PG. Hopefully we get into the next score.
Sure. So then there is these factors which I quickly like to discuss. There are a lot of slides, we're running a little short of time. So factors when you're choosing a college away from home. So just in the break I had a girl who wanted to decide between AIIMS Bhopal and Bangalore Medical College, and she's from Bangalore. So here she has to make a decision where she's getting two colleges, one in the home city and one in a different state, but one has the AIIMS tag attached to it, the other is the best state medical college. So what are the factors that you will actually put into place? Is the new place that you're going to, does it have good connectivity to your home city or home place? What is the distance? Can you go and come back fast? Some people like to have an independent life. They are going to a hostel. They want to enjoy hostel life, or they want to have that independent life. Whereas some people want to enjoy the safety and the comfort of home. Let's face it, when you are in hostel, you have to do everything by yourself. Here you have your parents who are taking care of, even your laundry, your clothes are washed, ironed, and everything is ready for you, at least for most of us. Whereas in the hostel, it will be a much different scenario. Also, there is this concept of, there will be ups and downs during MBBS. I have had at least 2 MBBS students right in their first year who have come to me and told me that, I want to, in the first year, after 1 month after first year MBBS, they have come and told me, sir, I want to quit MBBS. ये मुझसे आगे नहीं पढ़ा जाता है. There's so much of a course. So there will be ups and downs, and all they need is a lot of family support, a lot of guidance during this time, which is possible if you are at home, or if you are away from home, you need to find mentors such as which are like your family to guide you. Also, if you're moving from north to south or south to north, language is a barrier. And here, it's not just about reading your books. You have to take a detailed history. You have to ask questions that you have not even imagined to your patient. And therefore, knowing the language of the patient, knowing the local language is very, very important when you are going to a different state or city. So before I move to the next slide, any points you want to add, Amit sir?
What answer did you give when the person asked aims versus your the Bangalore versus somewhere in Raichur? What was your...
I gave her the points and asked her to decide.
But what do you think? If it's a decent and good category, they always different categories, something about 50 and less than 50%. Earlier, if I asked me 15 years back, we would have said, oh, aims, stop and out. But now, since this is an undergraduate, first year of MBBS, choices have become wide, technologies have become wide, system is there. So, if you look at it, I would today, earlier, though I had to move on, if you ask me today, if it's near home and it's of a good quality, I'll prefer home one versus far because the syllabus is wide. So much is the syllabus. If you're having a family, people, your friends and all, they'll help you a lot compared to what you're going to do. But if you don't have an option and you have to move, then you can choose whichever is the best. This today because syllabus is very, very wide. And you need a help.
Other point I would tell her to take BMC is then my next slide. Choose a medical college if you can in a bigger city. If you have to choose between a medical college which will be slightly better but in a smaller town and in a college which is in a city, because it is more likely that you will have more exposure, not just about the college, but there is a lot of other exposure that you need to get between your age 18 to 23. Okay, so there will be a lot of exposure that you will get in a city. There will be more exposure to workshops and conferences. Availability of certain newer medications, newer treatment options will first come into cities than penetrate into smaller towns. Also, you will have a better student life. Recreational facilities, you don't want to be only with your books and studying all the time. You want time to relax. You want places where you can go to and relax with your friends, where you can party. So definitely that would give you more options in a city. And of course, access to PG coaching centers. After 3 or 4 years, you have to think about PG coaching, and more likely there will be more centers for PG coaching in a city than in a smaller town. And again, so opportunities of coaching will also vary based on whether you're a person who wants live classes. So if you're a person who wants live classes, then definitely choose a city. Whereas if you're a person who's okay with studying through MAG or whatever course you have through an online portal, then it doesn't matter whether you're in a city or in a town. Also, some colleges have a very busy internship. They have a very, very busy internship and don't have enough time to prepare. Whereas some colleges, the internship is cool and the students mostly go and sit and prepare for the next set of exams. So let's come to internal PG quota. Should we choose a college which has internal PG quota? Vikram sir, your opinion about internal PG quota?
So, this morning when Krishna was asking me, basically he was getting 680 score out of 720. So he was sure definitely getting one of the aims, and he's having an option of getting into BMC as well. Okay. So definitely this is a very subjective question. Answer for this, for example, as a mentor, my answer will be different, as a doctor, his answer will be different. So when we talk about the aims, any central government college, one of the biggest advantages is basically they have the internal PG quota, where almost 50% seats of this top aims, so central government Delhi colleges, the seats are reserved for them. And this year, even for the IIT, for example, IIT is not the exam which is there along with the PG. So they get very good number of seats reserved for people, those who are studied for the top aims of central government colleges. So which is not there in college like BMC or MMC. Definitely you will get this state quota offering, you will get this state quota benefit, since you're basically from Karnataka. But the benefit of medical PG quota is there in almost all the top aims, JIPMO.
And Delhi University, more importantly.
And all Delhi University.
So you've done from any Delhi college, if you've done your graduation there, when you are applying for NEET PG, you even with the lower rank, you will be able to get a better, you will get another Delhi college than if you have not done your MBBS from a Delhi college. So
huge difference in the ranks.
Huge difference, as much as. So I was just looking at some stats which said that a normal person who get internal medicine in MAMC would have to get a ranking of up to, within 500. Whereas if you were from Delhi University, a ranking of even 7,000-8,000, you could get in the NEET PG, you could get internal medicine at PG level. So that is the importance of.
So it's the same with the Centrons also, as you mentioned.
Yes,
after the introduction of NEET PG. Previously, both these colleges used to have a separate entrance exam where extra marks would be given for either alumni or more particularly those who have done the rural part of the institute as such. Now it's reserved seats both in PGs, the internal PG quota for those who have done the bond and of course the religious minority as such. And there's a huge rank difference between getting prestigious seats like internal medicine, radiology, dermatology and all when you do from these colleges as such.
Okay. And Vikram sir, if you could talk about the bond after MBBS.
So when we talk about the bond after MBBS, 2 years back there was different bonds for all different colleges, but now NMC is creating new guidelines where they say there will be uniform bond for all the states across India. So any government college or private college government seat will be uniform bond of 1 year. So now I think it doesn't matter basically from which state, the uniform bond of 1 year. For all the states, whether it's government college or private college, government seat, 1 year of what you need to do.
Okay. So I'll put up the other details on the slide. Yes, thank you. So with this, the next question the student will ask me is, so what should I do? It depends on you. You need to put in all the factors that we talked about and understand that the final thing that makes you a good doctor is your enthusiasm. It is a long journey ahead. Avoid drop years if possible. And the life of a medical student is learning on the go. You will be learning as and when you go through the journey of MBBS. And let's go deeper into what happens during MBBS. So we have moved from the topic of how to select a college into journey of MBBS.
Just to conclude this basically, definitely we have discussed all the different aspects of getting into how to select the right medical college. But if I talk in respect to counseling, basically, the first thing obviously your marks and rank, right? So, based on your marks and based on the rank, first of all, you need to zero down which all colleges are possible. It's all basically, you may have some different expectations. You have 400 marks and you do not have the, you have 400 marks, you are expecting DMC, that is technically not possible, right? So, first of all, based on the NEET counseling, what all colleges are possible according to your rank? List out those colleges. For example, there are 20 colleges, 25 colleges, 30 colleges. These are the government colleges, for example, these are private colleges, these are IT colleges. List out those colleges. Let's start comparing what are factors we have discussed today. We can compare those factors in different colleges, and with the help of expert mentor, with the help of people who are studying in those colleges, we can take the feedback. And from those colleges, basically based on the counseling, as we said, they have 2 different counseling. MCC is different, state quota is different. Private colleges participate only in the state quota, and MCC have government, central government, and deemed colleges. So, based on the marks and rank, zero down the colleges, then compare these factors, then at the end, maybe you can come up with some 4, 5, 6 colleges or 10 colleges, which are the top 10 colleges, and try to work on those colleges, try to get those colleges.
Fantastic strategy.
Practical approach of how to select the right medical college.
Very true, so very true. So thank you so much. So let's dive into the glimpses of what to expect in MBBS. So this movie was released just 6 months before I entered medical college. This was my first exposure to what MBBS is going to be. And then there have been series like The Good Doctor, House, and Grey's Anatomy. How many of you have been following these series? Okay, good. So let's see. If I could summarize the entire MBBS in one slide, I found this on the internet. So let's take a brief, in 2 lines, if you could talk about your MBBS. We're short of time. So starting from Amit sir, 2 lines about your MBBS. Anything that you remember, anything that you want to talk about MBBS? Your girlfriend, or your first crush, or your anything.
If they know, they'll get to me on I've always been around girls, and all the guys were feeling jealous of me. But you know what? My Valentine's Day hand always would be empty in my tuition, and hand would always be full. So the seniors would say, okay, buddy, no issues, just do that. The good thing is I spent most of my MBBS studying in library, because I felt that is a place I would get knowledge, and I knew I was alone. So I still feel any college for alone is in the sense I don't have family like doctor or whatever. I used to travel from 20 kilometers distance up and down, and I didn't have a mentor to say, oh, like this. So we had to pick up. Today they are in much better positions, so everything is easy for you. So you don't have to worry. Your life is 10 times better than what it is. Otherwise you have to go and work in library late night, take journals, find out each question and answer. Today nothing like that is there. So that was the only 2 things I remember.
Satish sir, one line or 2 about your MBBS.
It was just study.
Okay, stage now, I think Nitin will give a different picture. Before that, Rajshekhar sir, something about your
Why I am telling you this is, see, we were good debaters. We had a lot of extracurricular activities before PUC. Somehow after PUC, it became this. Because now things have changed. Each college has a cultural secretary. Cultural activities are very good. We enjoyed the cultural activity aspect.
Sure.
During my time, it was like this.
That's very, very important. Rajshekhar sir, you want to say something about your MBBS days, sir?
Medical college came here. From there I went to Nagpur. R&D medical. Different state, different language, different culture, but you got to just make it successful in life. So I want to say to all of you that Karnataka student, unfortunately, don't opt for All India quota, 15% seats. Unfortunate part of it. All the seats are taken by other states who are not from Karnataka. I'm sure this is the experience of Vikram also. So you high rank student must try for All India quota because all government medical colleges know tuition fee, good infrastructure. So try for All India quota. If good many students are. So anywhere in the country is India. So you study over there, you become self-confident, you become freedom, you become all that protective mechanism goes to I must start my study in front of my house, in my village. That does not happen. It has to be open. Leave them alone. Go anywhere. Let them become very confident people in this country.
Parents, I hope you are listening. These are very, very important points, very, very practical points. Although sir is 8 years old, but very, very contemporary points that he's talking about. Thank you, sir. Nitin, from your MBBS.
He's doing the best of it. I know I have seen it. The best student what he has made, people have seen as a faculty, perfect balance of everything he has done in life.
So, Dr. Amit was my teacher at St. John's when I was an MBBS student. I don't want him to tell more things, but
Nitin, I put this slide thinking about your MBBS days.
So there are some words not applicable to me, but anyway, so I really enjoyed my MBBS. I wouldn't regret a single day of my MBBS because I was fortunate to be in a college which encouraged a lot of cultures and this thing of the cultural secretary. We used to attend at least 10-11 fests a year. I had the opportunity to conduct a fest. And when conducting a fest, you develop a lot of leadership qualities which will help you as you move forward in a doctor. So I had to go and negotiate with Kingfisher and Pepsi to sponsor our fest. And that teaches you a lot of things when you negotiate with these big companies. And then and that is where I got to know Govind as well, because we used to meet in a lot of cultural fests. And you call them to your college, you have exchange of ideas, you compete against each other. It was wonderful, and we did organize many more things. We organized medics, where we had almost 6,000 school children come to our college and see different departments and how life in MBBS is. So for me, MBBS, I don't remember much of the studies part as such, barring my internship as such, because in my college time I was more or less in cultural activities, and that's the sort of balance that you really need to strike to make sure you have your attendance, your academics don't get affected, but at the same time grow as a person. And that is why I'm part of a team called Alter Doctor, which encourages MBBS students to express their reflections, creativity, humor, dance, trivia, music, whatever, online as such. So MBBS, in short, I don't have time to come up with I would say it's magnificent, beautiful, you have to be bold, and at the same time it would be a superb experience. That's what MBBS would stand for.
Thank you. So, yes, so definitely, since they have covered a lot of things, I will not talk about my MBBS, the scenes are kind of covered. But yes, your MBBS will be faced with a little of more academic challenges because there have been shift in batches in the last 2 years due to the pandemic. But I would say that take every challenge as an opportunity. Take every challenge as a chance, as an opportunity to build a better future. In fact, before the pandemic, use of online classes, use of online means of study was very, very less. Now look at the world. Everything is happening online. In fact, we are having this meeting here after 2 years. 2 years earlier, medical mentor used to conduct only seminars. But COVID gave us an opportunity to reach 2,000 students every week through webinars. So, COVID and the pandemic has taught us a lot of things, and I'm sure you will find ways to convert your challenges into chances. Okay? So, what to expect in the first few months with respect to academic and social adjustments? You, as students, you need to do a shift in the way you study. You need to learn. Till now you had to study from an MCQ based pattern. Now you have to move from an MCQ based pattern to a knowledge based pattern. You need to understand the concept properly. You need to learn how to make notes. Regular revision is necessary. Preparing for Viva is necessary. Till now there has been nothing called a Viva in your life. But from MBBS onwards, you will have another doctor in front of you asking you questions face to face, and you have to answer repeatedly. And that's why sir already mentioned this when he was talking role play. So as MBBS students, we used to have Viva with other students. So do it on a monthly basis, weekly basis. You finish a chapter, ask those questions to your friend or to anyone, to your roommate in the hostel, and that's how you can prepare better for Viva. Learn to make mnemonics. So there are a lot of mnemonics that you can make to remember various things in your studies. I still remember my mnemonics that I learned in anatomy. And ask your seniors better tips for preparing for exams. Also, there will be a lot of social adjustments that you will have to do once you enter MBBS, because hostel life and this whole journey of late teen and early 20s, the young adult phase, is very, very different. A lot of students have this perceived freedom and sense of liberation as soon as they move from high school or PUC to a medical school. Also, you may have moved to a different city or town. So let this not, affect you at an inner level. Make sure you have means and ways to handle stress. It's very, very important. Parents, seniors, and teachers will play a greater role. I would love to talk about these slides in detail, but we're running short. And also, role of friends and peers. So this slide speaks for itself, as Sujit sir said yesterday when he was seeing the slide. One rotten apple can rotten the entire basket, or birds of same feather flock together. So, also Nitin mentioned the academic environment. This is what I was talking about. So certain colleges will give you that environment where when I entered into BMC, even if I thought that today I want to take a break and not study, I see all my batchmates are sitting with books. I have no other work but to sit and study. So it's the academic environment also that matters, that forces you to do something that you may not feel like doing. The same thing can happen in reverse also. You want to sit and study, but your entire group of friends is partying even just before the exam, which may not be good. So make sure that after you enter the medical college as well, you know how to pick your set of friends, your set of people with similar kind of ideas and functioning. Coming to the third part, very important, the changes that NMC has done to the MBBS course. It has made it quite more, it has improvised it in many ways. There is something called competency-based medical education, which was introduced in 2019 August. And you would be the fourth batch, if I'm not wrong, for this revised scheme 4. So, the revised scheme 4 of NMC, that is CBNE, we also call it, is designed to create Indian medical graduates on a module of attitudes and good communication. They not only want to make clinicians, but this clinician should have leadership qualities, should be a good communicator, should be a lifelong learner, and should have professional demeanor in all his actions. Okay, so that's what NMC has been concentrating on, and it is going to be a more clinically integrated course. For example, when you start off anatomy and when you learn about all the various parts of your body, it will be linked to a clinical scenario. Okay, so there has been a massive drift in the way things are going to be taught to you, and this drift is towards the positive. So, and these are the subjects that, just to give you a glimpse of what will be taught in MBBS. This slide says 21 subjects, actually there are 19 subjects, there are 2 subjects which are added radiotherapy and PMR added extra, but I found it on the NMC website, so I thought I'll add it. But yes, these are the subjects that you will be coming across and that you will have to study before you write your NEET PG. I'm not scaring you or discouraging you, but just wanted to give you a glimpse of what you're signing up for. Okay, so these are the subjects. And coming to the last part of the talk, what are the career options after MBBS? Starting from Nitin.
So I think you have the traditional course where you finish MBBS and you opt for some specialization by doing post-graduation and everything. If you do, and of course you then have options whether to do it in India or abroad as such. Apart from that, what I would say is research is something which is big and upcoming, and there are opportunities to be a good researcher, to do a PhD or be involved in research faculty as such. And of course, options of getting into Indian administrative services, like few doctors have done, or the UPSC exam is also there. One thing that MBBS gives you is don't think that you will be bound by it. There are doctors who have completely changed their profession and gone on to do many things, and there are options within the medical field itself to do many things apart from clinical work, including hospital administration as such. So the list is endless. By doing MBBS, your path doesn't narrow down. In fact, many more options open up.
Fantastic. Satish sir. Yes.
In continuation of what my colleague said, I would feel this country don't need specialists today. Our country needs family physicians, family doctors even today. Because of lack of family doctor, public health is suffering today. That's why we got epidemic of COVID and so on and so forth. Everybody cannot become a consultant. There are hardly 45,000 seats, and so many students are trying to become first-class students. So everybody should not try to become a consultant in different subjects. Also, keep in mind, family physician, family practice is one of the important component in developing country. You can also become a politician after MBBS. There are so many politician doctors now in all over the country. So that is another option. But I personally feel India needs family physicians, basic care.
I am very sure. It will be either a GP or PG. GP means general practitioner, PG means post graduation. Then of course specialization, super specialty, and all other avenues with the other panel members.
Amit sir.
There are too many career options, new subjects have come up, new colleges have opened, and hospitals also have a lot of variety of courses for them. So the good number of options is there. Only advice is you should not stop just at MBBS, because the way the things are advancing further, you have to go and do further specialization. But as I said, one of the development specialty is family medicine, but you can choose whatever you can do. You'll get to know over years of practice what you're doing. But a humble request is today, please do not stop just at MBBS. Is an advice, because you have specialized, you have super specialization, and looking to introduce one more called Rupa, where by the time you will end up in something. You need to do minimum post-graduation. So after MBBS, options have increased lots for you.
So one thing that I can tell is MBBS alone may not be enough. You will have to do something more. So one thing that you have to understand, that you're signing up for something which is a little bit long term. Even if you have to do any of these, will involve some of more degrees, education, some more courses. So you're signing up for something that is a little more long run. Okay, and it's not that you just have to look at MBBS just like study, and you cannot pursue your passion. For example, Nitin is part of a team called Alter Doctor, which does with, is founder of Alter Doctor, co-founder of Alter Doctor, which deals with doctors having other hobbies and other trivia that you mentioned about. Similarly, me, I am a full-time dermatologist Monday to Saturday, but Sundays I give talks. Sundays I'm with you all. So it's about pursuing your passion, so which is quite possible even if you are a doctor. So I would like to close this seminar with a valuable message from the panelists. So let's take, starting from our senior most panelist, Rajshekar sir. What is your final message for our
I've been telling this morning, primary message is must become a good human being. Let there be a divinity in you. Then you give it up. There must be a combination of knowledge, competence, compassion, and divinity. Then only medical person will be respected by people. So think twice before entering. Am I fit to become a good doctor? Then you decide and enter medical school.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Satish, sir, please.
See, you have to have a name. See, you want to become a doctor, work for it. Definitely you can achieve everything. And you have to be a good doctor, good human being.
Please hold on for 5 minutes. We are completing in 5 minutes. Give us 5 minutes. Please be seated for the next 5 minutes before we close. Yes, Amit sir.
I would say all the best for you all. And being a doctor itself is a pride and prestige, both for yourself, for your family, and also your peers. So live up to the expectations and do not worry. A lot of options are there. Once you enter inside, you all will really go through a good time. It's all about you. How are you going to take each step in phase? At the end of the day, you have to do the hard work. Options are available.
Thank you. And message from you, Nitin?
So one thing is, please do not compare yourself at any point of time with your friends who are going to enter engineering, law, their pay package and all. Remember, you are entering this field because of a passion you have it. You can always, after MBBS, like we discussed, you can do many more things. I'll just tell you one quote from the movie Patch Adams by Robin Williams. You treat a disease, you may win or lose sometimes. But you treat a person, you will win no matter what the outcomes.
Thank you so much for the lovely message. Yes, sir.
Today, India has 8 lakh registered medical doctors in National Medical Commission. But India needs 15 lakh doctors. So there is no chance of getting unemployed in future at all. So there is always an opportunity to doctor anywhere. So entering as a doctor and medical school as an aspirant, you will never be unemployed. Always there is a chance for doing good service.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So this is my final message for all the medical aspirants who are here. Visualize your future. See your future, see your success before your eyes, and only then you will be able to reach there. I was a first year MBBS student when I saw my senior getting a gold medal, and that's when I thought, okay, I too want to work so hard that I will be a gold medalist. And someday I did achieve that. So learn to visualize your success in front of you. Set your goals straight. MBBS need not be all about studies, about topic, or about gold medals. It's your late teens, your early 20s, it's the golden period of your life. Do not ignore friends, family, hobbies, and co-curriculars. Now this is something that even existing medical students have told me about, how they feel about their course. And therefore, the more you network at this stage, the more you interact with other people, you will carry this network into your late 20s and 30s. Like I just told you, I know Nitin from last 17, 18 years, we met in MBBS days. So network more, make more friends, make sure you utilize this golden period in all ways possible. Till now, whatever you study, be it physics, chemistry, biology, why did you study it? What was the purpose of studying? The purpose was that you wanted to score. You wanted to score well in your NEET UG. Now, when you study human anatomy, study human physiology, biochemistry, and all the other subjects in MBBS, you're not studying just for your PG preparation, but you're studying so that you can apply it practically as a doctor on your patient. Your studies, whatever you're studying in your course, will be something that you will apply to another human individual when you're treating them. And therefore, MBBS is not just about studies, it's about the kind of doctor you want to be, the kind of person you want to be. So take a wise decision when you take up this course of MBBS. All the best from me and all the panelists out there. Before we close, a very important message from Vikram sir. He has had the experience for the last 10 years in guiding MBBS students. So his perspective is very, very important. He's not a doctor, but he has seen generations of MBBS students and guided them. So Vikram sir, your message please.
Thank you, sir. So I hope the today's event was very, very helpful for you. The morning session was all about the counseling process, where we tried our best to explain about the entire admission process. We tried to give lots of clarity. So as I said in the morning, the counseling and the skill development differs from person to person. Everyone is at different marks, different ranks, different categories. So whatever doubts you have, whatever clarification you have, you can talk to mentors, you can walk in down, you can walk into the office, you can take the free virtual sessions. The first session, what we are offering is absolutely free. You can talk to mentors, know your possibilities, and when it comes to choose the right college, as I said, we need to be practical when we participate in the counseling process. So based on the marks and rank, if you want that guidance, basically, if you have multiple options, how to select the right medical college in the counseling process, definitely will be able to help you based on your personal details. We will always able to help you right suggestion, right point of view, basically how you should select a right medical college, what are factors considered in the counseling process. Will be always very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Nitin just. Okay, so Vikram sir says we have some time. I'm happy with that. We would like to take audience questions in this time. So so we have discussed a lot of things about. Selecting a college and about MBBS. So if there are members in the audience who have any questions for any of us in the panel, please go ahead and ask the questions.
Only the government quota seats, the one like 23,000.
So there were 2 or 3 court cases happening. 2-3 years back, because it was not there in the prospectus, the court said you cannot apply retrospectively as such. I'm talking of Karnataka as such, because I know my friends, because the government study said all seats in a private college, irrespective of government quota or private quota, have to do 1 year rural bond to the state. But from 2016, I'm not sure of the year, but from that MBBS onwards, they say it should be all states, right? So there is still lack of clarity with that. The best thing is what comes in the prospectus and the counseling is announced, that will define whether all seats have it or not as far as the state is concerned.
It becomes a very important criteria in deciding the type of seat.
Correct. So which is why the private colleges and the deemed colleges are saying that this is an infringement on their autonomy if their students are also made to do the rural bond as such. But the court and the government says you are doing it as a service as a doctor or whatever else the state is doing. So it's a matter which is still going on, and it's something that only the prospectus would probably clearly define as such.
Sir,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go on.
Sir, one doubt in my mind. So if a candidate chooses a UG college outside Karnataka, say for example, AIMS or any of the others, for PG, is still be eligible for
So Karnataka, still you are eligible. See, Karnataka has a different clauses for the PG, sir. If you studied in Karnataka for 10 years, basically, if you do your schooling from Karnataka, in that case, even if you do your PG from outside the state, in that case also eligible for the state quota seat. That is point number one. If someone has not studied 10 years in Karnataka, right from 1st to 12th class, in that case, if you do not do MBBS from Karnataka, then you are not eligible. So in that case, if for example someone is from Rajasthan, even he has completed MBBS from Karnataka, so even they are eligible for government quota seats. So if you do your schooling of 10 years in Karnataka, in that case, nothing to worry. Even if you do your PG in AIMS, not an issue. In that case, you will get two benefits: PG internal quota in AIMS, Karnataka state quota.
I just have one question. Firstly, thank you for sharing your thoughts, and that's been really wonderful for us as parents. So, first, some reference. So, that usually when the students join, in the first 2 months, they are not able to manage. Hope it's better now. So, like there was a reference where it said that students initially, because they're not used to this kind of an ambience, in the first 2 months, probably they may break down and they don't believe in their potential and they feel that they want to take it off, they want to deviate from this course. So I know it is not easy, it's going to be hard, but what's the piece of advice you probably explain out for the panelists? How do you expect the kind of advice that you would give to the student to stay calm but look at his destination, look at the goal?
So you're speaking about the first 2 months after they join medical school?
Yes.
Yes, it is very overwhelming, and as you see in the movies, entering the anatomy hall where there are cadavers is sometimes a psychological experience which not everyone would be able to accept. Looking at the volume of books and the amount of knowledge, it all can get overwhelming. And I want to assure you that everyone, all of us here on stage have experienced it, right? So to experience it does not mean you're weak. That's the first thing. It's a very natural phenomenon. I'm sure Satish sir, Rajshekar sir, Amit sir, all of us, when in the first 2 months you would have felt, oh my gosh, how am I even going to complete the first 6 months? So it's very natural to feel that. Don't think you're mentally weak or not up to the course. I would say keep channel of communications open, speak to your friends, speak to parents, speak to other teachers, and understand one thing, that's what I'm trying to say. All of us have gone through it, and once you pass that first 3 months and you do that internal assessment, and most will get low marks, okay? In that first internal assessment, everyone will get low marks. You will realize that gone are the days you will get 90, 80, 70 is the new 90, 60 is the new distinction in medicine. Let me be outright with it.
Very true.
Right? So understand all these things, and remember, marks don't determine how good a doctor you become. So keep channels of communication open, and I would say with the liberty of Govind and Vikram and all, at any point of time, anyone feels overwhelmed and want to discuss with someone not in their college, you're free to contact us and we'll do
Yeah, our doors are open, our email IDs are there, our phone numbers are there, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help as fellow doctors, as fellow human beings.
So the overwhelming can happen due to 3 things. 1, the volume of subject. 2, a psychological aspect of staying away from home, staying away from parents and all. And 3rd, a feeling that this is not for me. I might not have made the right decision due to other factors as such. If it is a 3rd factor, then everyone has to communicate and really understand. And sometimes it may not be, but that if someone has just taken it for peer pressure, parental pressure, then it's a different issue. But if it's for the first 2 reasons, then time is the best healer.
Thank you so much. It's really helpful.
In fact, in my case it was reverse. My father asked me at least 10 times after I took the medical seat, saying that, "Go, are you sure you want to do it? Are you sure you want to do MBBS? Are you sure you'll be able to study for so many years?" Nobody else in our family has done it so far. So everyone has done only commerce in my family. So there are several factors, and a lot of factors come in. And please reach out, as Nitin already said. Help will be given to those who seek it.
As a parent, you may face an issue where your daughter or son is going to come home and say, "Mama, I don't want to do this. I'm not able to do it. I'm not able to do it." That is not the only subject. You will have to encourage. You have 250, 150, whatever students are there. Because we have seen that people are not having first year, second year, they are thinking of giving up MBBS or whatever. But when they come to fourth year, they choose, for example, his subject is best, his subject is better. They excel in that subject. So first year they don't have that much exposure. Yes, now the rule has said CBMU is they will be given exposure to multiple subjects in the first 2 months. So things, I'm telling you, are much, much better. The only thing is, for your daughter or son, maybe this is not there, you have to pass this phase. You may get some of the subjects which you like over the period. So just give him confidence, don't worry, but you have to clear that and pass that and choose the subject which you like to know. Because they get worried, oh, this subject, I'm not going to be able to take this. No, you have 20 subjects, and somewhere during the course, the person will definitely like one of the subject. They just have to pass the path.
In fact, the new CBME talks about 2 months settling in, 1 month of orientation to MBBS, which was not there for us. The new curriculum is first giving 1 full month that the student gets oriented to MBBS. Even when there was no formal orientation in Bangalore Medical College, first week we were made to sit next to the cadavers for 2 hours of dissection, not dissect, but just sit next to the cadavers and read our dissection manual. That's how you get used to having cadavers around you, getting used to the scent, very strong scent, pungent odor of formalin, and getting the feel of the medical college story. So it's a process that happens. So I don't think we need to worry too much.
I think there's a foundation course also, which I've known happens in some colleges, where they teach you and talk about all these things, how to accept bad news, break bad news, communicating, and also even the NMC and the top boards have recognized that the first 2 months is a crucial factor, and it's not going to be as strenuous or overwhelming as it could have been during our times.
Thank you, doctors, for your heartwarming talks. Thank you so much, doctors. Sir, I have a question. My son gave his NEET to pursue MBBS because he loved biology and he wanted to serve the people. That was his major reason. Now, having said that, after giving the NEET, assume you are not in the top 50 colleges or in the top ranked colleges. There are people who are suggesting that instead of going MBBS, we can do BDS. So, you're at that juncture whether you should be in as a completer MBBS or you should take up also BDS. Like, what is your say on this?
So, all professions serve humanity in one way or the other, right? But when you look at the scope between MBBS and BDS, taking MBBS gives you a wider scope than BDS. Yes, there are a few things which can still be done after BDS in terms of hospital administration, administrative services and all. But purely talking about the field as such, MBBS gives much more scope. Because, like I said, in MBBS, there are things where, even if you're not wanting to treat patients, someone is an introvert, you can always be a good teacher and be involved in research and teach the and paraclinical subjects. But you don't have that option in BDS as such, right? So, purely in terms of scope and the opportunities available after MBBS is much more than BDS.
Irrespective of the college.
Irrespective of the college, as we have been time and again emphasizing, is the enthusiasm of the student at the end of the day. Which
I don't think top 50 medical colleges should be the only bracket you're looking at. When we have 612 medical colleges across the country, 50 top medical colleges is too small a bracket.
Just give an example.
Yeah, I think if you can get an MBBS seat, it's more like it than just changing the course if you're just not getting a top one.
Probably MBBS doctors have more market value and more maternal matrimonial value than religious value.
Excuse me, sir. My question is regarding the counseling. If we apply for the MCC counseling and in the first round we opt for upgrade and then we apply for the state counseling, in that also we get a seat but we are not fully happy, so we apply for the upgrade. So when can we exit the MCC? Like you told after first counseling we are after first round we are
How it
supposed
works
to.
is basically every student who is participating in counseling, they'll be getting 3 rounds, 3 chances everybody gets. MCC round 1.
But you
Let's
told
take
you
Quota
can't
round 1.
exit after the second round. Only the
Yes,
first
yes,
round
yes, yes.
you have.
MCC round 1, state Quota round 1, then MCC round 2. But after MCC round 2, you need to take a break. Means either you take the seat in MCC round 2 and close the counseling, or you do not take any seat in state Quota MCC round 2 and go to the state Quota round 2. So after MCC round 2, you need to decide. You cannot have your seats at particular places. After MCC round 2, you need to decide whether take a seat in MCC and close it, or go to the state Quota round 2 without holding a seat.
So we can exit in the round 2 also.
By 4:40, the secretary deposit. If you get the
Is there any option that you don't fill up any time?
Yes, yeah. In that case, you do not want anything in round 2, do not fill any choices, or fill only colleges which you really want it basically. Otherwise, do not put any unwanted colleges.
Then if you don't get allotted, then
Then you are eligible for the state Quota round 2, and this you are even your deputy is associate.
And one more question, sir. If we have to rank the colleges of Bangalore, right now there are many colleges, private also, new colleges have come up, and government also there is some Washington college affiliated to it. So if we have to rank all the colleges, so how do we rank it? First,
So we have 62 colleges in Karnataka. Yes, because let us meet in person 1-to-1 based on the master plan we suggest you. Okay.
Any more questions from the audience? That gentleman in lavender.
Good evening, sir. Myself, Jagannatha. I have a question in Karnataka Counselling. If the students enter the government sitting private college, the price what you discussed there, 1,41,996. After paying that, we are going to the medical college private. I heard that there is again extra fees there. Can you lighten up on this?
Yeah, so there are some miscellaneous fees charged by most of the colleges, some colleges, but that fees is not very high. It is very minimal fees basically. So it varies from 25,000 to 50,000-60,000. Especially in terms of government seats, very minimal. So this miscellaneous fees is there for the 10 lakh fees, but Karnataka is the state where they do not charge very hefty fees, very minimal fees. But state like Tamil Nadu, for example, the government quota fees in private colleges is 3.5 to 4 lakhs, but they charge approximately double, 8 lakh rupees across. 4 lakh they charge. But Karnataka is that way we have state government is good to so not very hefty fees, in few thousands. That's it.
I have one more question, sir. In Shishak and one more Edu Fever, the website, I gone through that. Some colleges, at the time of admission, they are asking the bank guarantee for the rest of the school. Is it true or not?
No. See, Karnataka, any college to Karnataka State Counseling, any college is not asking bank guarantee. There are few colleges in deep, there is some few colleges in deep, they are asking bank guarantee. Like for example, Siddhartha Durgapur, they have removed that bank guarantee last year. So, yes, we in other colleges, especially in Telangana, they ask the bank guarantee. But in Karnataka, there is no bank guarantee.
Is there any guidance from the National Medical Council 2091 Act? No? Is there any support for the parents or not? If they are asking that.
I have seen the bank guarantee decision taken by the state government, NMC will not have anything to do with that. So, Telangana, for example, when you take education fees, 12 lakh rupees, they ask you to pay the bank guarantee. Either pay 2 years fees or you pay the bank guarantee of the rest of the 3 years also. So, NMC has nothing to do with that because that is state government decision. So, it varies from state to state. But Karnataka, we do not have any bank guarantee, nothing to worry.
One more small question. Actually, from the private college, they are mandating that compulsory hostel. Is it true? Some colleges.
Hostel, again, it depends from you. Generally, first year, most of the hostel is making mandatory, but still, it is not very compulsory, especially in terms of Karnataka, it is not compulsory.
But my concern is that I came to know that why they medical college.
You need to request the principal. I know the management.
What I request you, sir? The fees will be 1,41,996. mandatory means 1,50,000
No,
rupees for
no,
hostel.
I know the college personally. I've met the, I know the management. They are not making it mandatory. Generally, first year they suggest you to do it, but if you request the principal, give a request letter, they will not make it compulsory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ragging in medical colleges. Ragging is banned, and for all practical purposes, what I know from interacting with my juniors, it is highly non-existent to the levels where we used to face problems in the past. Now it will be more about introduce yourselves and something very healthy between the common interaction, nothing abusive towards the juniors. True, when I was in third year MBBS, so yeah. Colleges which are opened just for this batch. You'll have to again look at all the factors that we talked about and then rate it. It will depend on college to college scenario. Even if it is 15 years back scenario is different. Today you can find a mentor from a different college also, because it's the information era. You can find an MBBS student from another college who's ready to mentor you. Through Instagram, through WhatsApp, through Facebook, through various other sources, which are not easy or non-existent when we were MBBS students. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Last question for the evening. So fees versus college. Fees versus college is what we're saying. So return of investment. 2 points I would like to make. Tell you that there is no return on investment in any course in MBBS or MD. Never look at course as return on investment. You are not taking up MBBS to earn money. You put the same amount of fees and the same number of years in a mutual fund, in an SIP or in any other profession, you will earn more. So MBBS is not about return on investment. It's about pursuing a passion. If you're really, I've known friends who have taken up MBBS because they wanted to earn more. But that would be the most foolish thing to do. You can earn more easily in any other profession today. So, return on investment is not something that I would really talk about in selecting medical college. If you have an option to take a government seat, why would you? So government college, so it comes back to the discussion between government college and a private college. So it has to be taken on case scenario where we are discussing two particular colleges, and I think this is best done in person than on stage. Anyways, thank you parents. Nitin, over to you.
If they have any doubt, they can still ask how questions.
Definitely. Dr. Ahmed says if you have any personal questions, we are ready to take it after the closing of the seminar. so you can meet them. Ladies and gentlemen and students, thank you so much. So I would just like to take this opportunity to propose a word of thanks. A great man once whispered, feeling thankfulness and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. I feel honored and privileged to get this opportunity to propose a word of thanks on this special occasion. I would like to thank all the honorable delegates, Mr. Vikram Kumar, Dr. Nitin, Dr. Rajshekhar, Dr. Satish, Dr. Govind Mittal, and Dr. for blessing us with their presence this evening and to the entire event. I am thankful to all the organizing members and the invited speakers. Words are not enough to thank their constant guidance and support to shape this seminar. My sincere thanks to all the parents and students for their presence this morning and evening. Last but not the least, I thank you all, the students, for showing interest in the program, and I once again thank you all for making this event possible. I'm Nitin Shivan, signing off this evening. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and
Mentors available outside at the stall. If you want to take 1-2 lessons right now, they are available. You can talk to them, you can meet them, you can take personalized counseling sessions. Right? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry, just a minute before you exit. So, when you make your way out to the 1-to-1 sessions, please make sure to go to the registration counter, take your slot, take the counter number, and then make your way to the counter, and you will have your 1-to-1 session with our